Hello and welcome back to another episode of How This Indie Dev. Today I'm joined by my guest Corey Darby, who is a co-developer of most recently a game about feeding a black hole, which has done very well. And so I'm excited to get into that and jump into kind of your process and how that whole development cycle and launching and post-launch and all of that has been for you most recently. So Happy New Year and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everyone else.
Yes. Yeah.
It was an interesting year. I mean, if you went back to the start of 2025 and you asked me, is it going to turn out like this? No way.
Yeah.
I mean, 2025 started, I was happily employed at an enterprise company, making them millions. And then one day it was like, oh, this role's eliminated. And then it was like, okay, what am I doing now? And game dev kind of happened, and yeah, so
That's okay. That's a really interesting place to start because I didn't know that you were laid off earlier last year. And so, what was that process when were you given notice and severance or anything? Like, were you able to kind of like were you really shell shocked, or were you kind of like, okay, I know that this is more like an opportunity for me to pursue what I want to, or
it was a shell shock because it was me and literally one other person in, let's say, a 600 employee company. Me and the other person started the same day. We were let go the same day. They were actually my boss. So it was my boss and me let go by his boss.
Yeah.
And shell shocked because, so I've been in other jobs where you're like, I could probably be let go at this point. Like maybe it coasted too much, but it's like highest performing department, top like margins, highest retention. And it was, I was director of engineering of about a 40, 50 person team, and we were just killing it. So it was like, wait, what? Like, okay. And they offered what they considered a generous severance. And when I seeked legal counsel, they literally laughed and said, they were like, I've done 2,500 cases. This is one of the worst offers I've ever seen. Okay. So I didn't get any severance because I was like, all right, we'll see you in court. And for those who ever get stuck in this spot, you should realize, even if you're right and you think you can get more, it is a long battle and you must be able to sustain yourself. Most people are going to live like roughly day to day and aren't able to take that. They think, oh, it's only going to take like 3 months. I am coming up on 1 year and we are still not settled, and we are waiting for like provincial court hearing dates to be set. So, but I had been fortunate enough being in tech to have money aside, and actually unrelated was my daughter was just born. So where I live in Canada, there's like generous parental leave. So that was like, I don't know, like 30-40% of what I was like making for like 52 weeks. So that was kind of like my okay, that's my runway, I guess, to figure this out.
Yeah.
Even if severance never got paid out, it was like, well, I'm going to be taking where my tax dollars are going and take the program, and let's see what I can do. There was no game dev still at this point. It was still, I'm going to go get a job. And then that transitioned into interviewing for a couple months and going, I don't know if I want to work in tech anymore. Like the interviewing styles were kind of different. I'm very much I'm here to make money, and I'll make company millions and millions of dollars. And I don't really care about this family and like social goal of like my North Star is this and we're changing the world. I'm like, I'm a capitalist at heart. I just make you boatloads of money. Do you want to do that? If you want to do that, great. But there are many people who you interview with who are like, well, we want to do that, but we also want to have impact and change the world. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to pass on tech now.
That's so interesting. So there's like a cultural misfit. I feel like if you came into an interview and you were like, hey, you don't have to schmooze me. Like, I don't have to feel like I'm part of the family. I'm just here to like make you, like your bottom line is going to be really good with me on your team. I feel like as an employer, I would love to hear that.
I think a lot of execs want to hear that.
Yeah.
But you have a lot of individual contributors who get hired and then they go into middle management and they're like, their world revolves around like a bigger department. and they want their sandbox to play well and not necessarily to take these big bets that might be the best interest of the company. They want the safe and like, yep, I keep adding headcount, I keep becoming quote unquote more important, and I get more budget. And I'm like, we should slash our department in half if that's what makes financially sense the most to the company. I don't mean go fire half the people. I mean, we just reallocate.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of leaders who are willing to hear and like accept that maybe the best interest is to actually like drop half of their department budget for the benefit of the company, even if truly that's the best thing for the company, because they think they're losing out. So anyways, it ended up working out. I mean, I had a game about feeding a black hole with Stockhouse Studios, Stefan, called Click and Conquer. And we built that game in 400 hours. And it ended up selling like 40,000 copies and over 100,000. So I knew something was there. I knew I could do the business side and operate game dev as a business, but
that's awesome. So it kind of forced your hand, but you had some experience, you had some confidence that you could make results happen. How would you summarize the launch of a game about feeding a black hole? Because from what I've seen, it's done really, really well.
It's for context on it's 100,000 copies as of like yesterday. Our first week we did $250,000 gross on the Steam side. So there's articles that talk about like forecasting long tail. I mean, it's like kind of like an art. It's a range, but it's like long tail. The game, according to that, should do like 700K to like 1.2 million in the first year. Obviously, there's like cuts. Like it's me and my counterpart Aramis Andy who did it. So it's like Steam takes a cut, I take a cut, he takes a cut, the RS and the CRA in Canada takes a cut. Like it's not like, oh, you made $1 million a game, you're walking away with $1 million bucks. It's not even close. You know, is it really good? And am I fortunate for the position? Yeah. I'm sure plenty of game devs are like, I would love to be there, but So launch itself was just it was actually very boring. I think Andy would say is similar. We had moved the release date. It was supposed to be like November 15th. It was December 15th, so we had enough time to get everything organized. We weren't rushed to anything. Like we already had such a giant wish list momentum that it wasn't like we don't know if we click button like if this is do or die. It was going to be like no matter what happens, we're both ROI positive for our time in here, and like we got to do another game together. Yeah,
that's amazing. That's the same sentiment that I chatted with Andy offline, and I asked him how he was feeling about going into launch, and he said something very similar where he's like, honestly, like we've been ready. Like we pushed the launch date back because we wanted to, you know, add these things and make sure that everything was tight. But he's like, launch week is like we have the build is like solid, and we're confident that it's gonna be like a fun game, and that's kind of a rare place to be in from people that I've talked to launching their games. And so I think that go ahead.
I was going to say, we also didn't embargo anyone on early access. So there was about 25 people who got early access with no embargo. So we had a couple of content creators play it even before December 15th. And they published their videos, and the reception was good. And it was like all what we had hoped for in terms of what the reactions were and how long they played and the vibe and what their audience thought. So it was just a question of how good the game was going to be. Like just how much is the ceiling here? How big is the rocket ship? I had made a Reddit post, I think like last night. And one of the questions that came up were like, when did you know? And it was something like, I looked back at my notes. It's like, okay, October 20th. I think I put it at like less than 1% that we would sell like 20 to 30,000 copies in the first 72 hours. And I'd been on a podcast and even said it. And then it was like December 15th. I think I'd put that at like 10%. And we were well past that. I think it was like 40,000 something in the first 72 hours. And it wasn't a 0% chance. Like I knew we would not sell 1 million copies in the first week. Like this was just zero. Like outside of Taylor Swift or PewDiePie or some
Yeah.
huge crazy person picking up the game and playing it, it was zero. It was literally a 0%. It wasn't a 0.1%, it was zero. But we started getting some numbers where it was like, it's possible to have a game that does pretty big numbers here. Not guaranteed, but like I put it at 10%. Well, we hit the 10%, but actually we exceeded the 10%, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. And so what do you think led to the game's success? Like, do you think it was primarily one thing or like a combination of other things? Was it the design of the game, the execution of the game? Was it marketing strategies? Was it creator outreach? Was it I don't know, juice within the effects in the game? Was it the psychology of the progression of the game? Like, I'm trying to think if there's, because it has a lot of good things going for it, and I know that both you and Andy have put in a lot of effort in different areas to execute this development and launch well. But I'm curious about your take on what, if there was like a primary thing or kind of the big thing that moved the needle for this project.
So I've had 3 indie games I've been involved with now. Click and Conquer, Mr. Farm Boy, and a game of Feeding Black Hole. 2 of them modest successful. This one very successful. I wouldn't say I'm able to pinpoint like what makes a game do well. I think it's easier to find the what would make a game not do well. Like what would have failed this game. Like because I think this game did so well of a combination of things, not just one thing. But on the flip side of that, we didn't have one thing there that was like a 0 out of 10 score, where 0 would be terrible. Like, there was no zeros. It wasn't like, well, you have good art, but the price was bad, or you have a really good trailer, but the gameplay was missing. We didn't have any zeros. I think we had some that were like high, maybe 10s even. Like psychology and pacing of the game, I think was just stellar around the point. Really hooks players in the first 6 minutes. Like they immediately get this like power fantasy in the first 3 rounds. So about 40, 50 seconds in the game, they were like, we watched all the content creators like, oh my God, this game's to be so broken. It's like, we doubled this, doubled that, doubled. Yeah, but then we flatten out. We can't do exponential the entire way through the game, or it'd just be crazy insane. Like you'd have to have like a bajillion entities on the screen, and everything would have to be shattering all at the same time. And so I think we weren't afraid to experiment too. I remember Andy did like 12 like mechanics. Like if people see what the game originally looked like when we first started and what it is now, you wouldn't even recognize the same game. Like, I think you've been in some of the streams to see some of the old versions. Like you used to move this giant black hole. You were the black hole. You moved it. It was slow, which is not a good player experience. And you can't break this and make the black hole fast because it distorts what we expect for like the weight of a black hole. So you have to be true to some of the mechanics. Like, yeah, the game's not true to space itself with gravity and everything, but like you are playing a game. But if you start mucking with like, you're this big mass slow thing, and you're like, no, now we're going to make you fast. It's like, but wait, like, am I not a black hole? Like, should I not be slow and consuming? But it's not fun to play that. We tested it. Like, a lot of people will ask for that. That was another thing we did well, I think, was people would tell us they want something, and we would go try it and realize it's not fun. Like, maybe in their head it sounds fun. Oh, being a black hole is going to be so fun. You're going to consume everything. And then you put it in front of someone, and they're like, wow, this is really boring and slow, and it's not the power dynamics I thought it would be. And so I don't think there's one thing, Thomas. We just had a well-rounded out game that had some stellar 10s in some areas. Yeah,
that's great. So, I'm curious when you are, because this is something that I personally struggle with, is cutting out work and experimenting and trying to find the fun. And it's something that I know I need to get better at. But for your guys' process, when you were, for instance, starting out with this prototype that is this slow-moving black hole that's not very fun to move around, how far do you push that before you pivot? Like when do you say this isn't fun and we need to drastically change it versus this isn't fun, how can we tweak it to make it slightly more fun?
I guess this is literally the $1 million, question here at this point. It's, I think it depends on each person. What I can say is, I think Andy and I went through, I want to say 12 iterations in the span of 2 weeks.
Wow.
So, and it was a lot of like, you just ship a new build, I'd play it, I'd be like, it just doesn't feel good. And the nice thing is when you have a lot of these, you're like, oh, this one feels better than this one. At least we have some comparability. Yeah. And then you might compare outwards as like, this is almost like it, but have you played this game? Like, notice how they do X, Y, Z in this. Like, that feels funner than this. I like this mechanic, but it feels funner when we do that. Yeah. Like, I remember when we got to the point where, you know, Andy was going back and forth with me about, like, trying to be, getting in our own way is what he would say. I call it, like, devs being devs and trying to be too smart for their own good. We always want to be the clever. We always want a unique mechanic. We always want to put our stamp on it, our snowflake moment. And it was around... I think it was like clicking and hovering mechanics and like destructive mechanics of like, how would you do something in the game to yield out result? And I had been playing Keep on Mining. Andy had been playing Keep on Mining. And I just asked the dumb question of like, why can't we just do that? Like, theirs is a hover mechanic. Why can't we just do the hover mechanic? Like, well, that's another game. They're not the first to come up with that concept. And, you know, back and forth, and he's like, well, why don't we just try it? And we try it, and it's like, oh my God, this is way better. Like, this is what we're doing. I think plenty, if you ask me, like, what would not make a good game is, you know, devs are very quick to not want to, I don't want to say clone or rip or steal, but like, we're very pushy on our uniqueness. We want to be the clever, crafty person who comes up with something brand new. And I applaud those who can and do. But Andy and I also came into this for that game. Our objective was to make a sustainable, profitable game. It was not to build a clever, unique thing. If we could do that and achieve the other, great. But that eats up a bunch of time, more iterations, and many unknowns. And I hate unknowns. So we de-scoped those and, hey, this game did really well, and these games did really well. And can we find a blend? Can we add our own twist? Because at least the market's validated those.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. When you guys were developing prototypes for it, and you know you had like 6 different prototypes that you were testing within just a couple of weeks, was it like Andy was doing the prototyping and then he would send a build to you and you would evaluate it and give your feedback on the design, or were you guys trying to come up with ideas together the whole time? And also, when you switched to that hover braking mechanic, did you know immediately that was the winner?
So Andy was doing the implementation. Like, I would give feedback. I might have ideas like, oh, maybe we should try this. Because the split of our work at that time was really like, you're going to build the game and mechanically build the game, and I'm going to do all the balancing and like manipulation of the skills once they're implemented. So I was actually blocked because I can't design a skill tree and how the game is good paced if I don't know what the mechanic is going to be in the game. Nor the implementation technically was there to even tweak values. So I was just like kind of QA and sounding board. I don't know, for me at least, it didn't click the moment we had the hover. I still thought this could be like click game and then maybe unlock auto clicker, but we just simplified and was like, well, why even make the user unlock it? Let's just give them the auto thing automatically. It's funny watching the gameplays, and some people have played 40 minutes in a game and not even realize like, oh, you don't have to hold down the mouse or click. We had an achievement for useless clicks to kind of nudge people to be like, hey, it's not a clicking game. We even changed in-game on skill tree to breaker, I think is breaker, instead of clicker, because we didn't want to imply a clicking action. It's like, so I don't think it clicked. I think we found something that was good enough, 80% there, and the rest was like, I think this is going to be not repetitive for the user to hate clicking or have to deal with like how to not fatigue the user from this. Simplify, so we didn't add an auto click mode. That's just one more thing to add in the code. Nope, we'll just give it from the get-go. And then once we got that and I could play with the values, I was like, oh, I think I can make this into a really good thing. Like, I think a lot of our back and forth with Andy has been like, just give me the crappiest version that's like passable for me to like conceive what this could be, and then let me go play. Because there's times where we've had skills in development with him where he's like, I think this is kind of garbage. Like, it's not going to work. I think moons in the game was one of them. You would destroy a planet and you would get this AoE increase or speed increase. And at the start, he's kind of like, I'm not loving it. I'm like, hold on. I go play with some data values. Okay, now play. And it's like, oh my God, this is broken. Like, it's when you get these stacked up and you get like this, that's just stacking, and you see your size and speed increasing, and you just want more of them. It changes the whole dynamic. Like, and all it is inputs. It's like the speed, the AoE, the clicker speed. It's just tuning the values. We saw this a lot in this game. It was like how much just tuning value could change the whole player experience.
I mean, and that seems like such a daunting... what was your criteria for figuring out if you had tuned things correctly? Were you trying to find... Was your basis like level of enjoyment, or was it like time played, like duration to get to a certain milestone of getting things unlocked? Because, I mean, because it seems like there's like a tension that you're trying to play with like a progression where... like the player wants to get more powerful, but you can't just give them all the power up front, even though that might be the most satisfying for an instant. But so what was your guiding direction for figuring out if you had tuned things correctly?
So it'd start before the player. Like, is this mechanic viable? Could it be quote unquote fun enough? The easiest way I found this is like, take your mechanic and make it the worst version you possibly can. So all the values super slow. You're going to hate this. And then go put it at the silly values. Like the values where the game starts breaking. Like, we had a spot where the radius was beyond the screen. Like, everything was just getting hit. And I'm like, yeah, but that's fun. Like, that's crazy. Like, imagine if you could destroy the entire screen. Okay, so I know at low values, not fun at all. And don't want to be the tiny super radius. And I know at the very, very extreme, there's crazy, silly fun already. Somewhere in there, we're going to find a sweet spot. Okay, so that's enough. Because even if I jack up the values, I'm still like, kind of not seeming that fun anyways. And we're at silly values where it should just, like, we're not going to find anything in between that. Like, lower we're going, it's just going to get worse. So, like, the moons were a similar thing. It was just like, if I just set it to silly values where you, like, the whole screen's all moons and you're getting all the stacking all the time, does that feel great? It's like, oh my God, yeah, the stacking thing feels awesome. And that led us down to the path of like, okay, we want to have enough time the player to keep getting more and more and more and hit these crazy, silly numbers. Then you get to like the player. So it's like, one might think that giving it up front is what you want to do. Like, I remember going back and forth with Andy. He's like, I don't like that when we give lightning to the player, these lightning asteroids, it does nothing. It doesn't feel good. And I said, okay, play this. I give it up front. Then I said, okay, play this version where you don't get it all up front. It's really shitty, like not that great at the start. And then you progressively get better. And he said, I don't know why, but the second one's better. Well, you get, because you had to earn it. Like, it's kind of like applying real life human psychology. Is like, if I just give you something up front, you didn't put any effort. It's like good in that moment, but then you're like, yeah, but I didn't really do anything to earn it. The satisfaction just drops off really quickly. If I do it the other way where we inverse it, so it's like I have to put in a lot of work, but then it feels really awesome once I hit a certain point. It's all about you. I did that. Or wait until I get X. Just wait until I get X. One more upgrade. Like, I'll play one more round. I'll be so much more powerful when I get X. Like, there's achievement, there's a goal, there's a progression, just like in life. Like, why do we strive to do more? Like, you're trying to get the next thing. Like,
I recently heard somebody say that life is just a hierarchy of little games that you're playing with yourself, and you're trying to prioritize your goals, your big goals underneath your smaller goals. But I thought that's really interesting to think about life just as through a lens of like gamification. I guess I'm interested about this game compared with your other games too. I've seen Click and Conquer. I hadn't seen your other game. Are both of those also what you would qualify as power fantasies, or like a major progression system where you have like big skill trees? Is that something that is common amongst your other games as well?
So the other two games, I was more just like mentorship. Like I put in the time and I work with the people and help them shape it, but it was more passive than the product. Like Game of Feeding Black Hole, me and Andy were all in. We're both full time on it. Like we're both making decisions. Sometimes I'm in the code modifying things if he wasn't available to fix like a bug I might find. Mm-hmm. The Click and Conquer game was an incremental game, so it is this power fantasy. You drop bombs, you explore bigger areas with larger radius of bombs, etc. You get more and more powerful, more different types of bombs, like more damage to units, etc. Mr. Farm Boy is actually it used to be called Cute Fantasy RPG, and it became Mr. Farm Boy. So that was a game that started off as one game, and I found the creator and just became great friends with them on Twitch, and just probably spent 900 hours with them just crafting the game into this farm automation game. Very different from fantasy mechanics there. There is more like the dream and decor fantasy, which is more like, oh, wait until I have my farm look like X.
Yeah.
Or wait until I have this optimized for Y. Mm-hmm. It's not so much wait until I become this big powerful thing, because you don't really become powerful. You might make more currency, which just feeds into, I'll be able to unlock more things in my farm and build the farm I want.
Yeah.
So no skill tree really in Farm Boy. It's more achievement unlock. So you unlock progression of buildings to further yourself. But Click and Conquer is prestige mode, where you are prestiging to unlock further on the skill sets you're getting. Game of Black Hole had no prestige. So they're kind of all over the place, but I don't know. I feel like incremental is like the secret. Like once you understand like incremental and like
did I lose you?
Nope.
Oh, good. Yes, you're back.
I could hear you and see you.
Oh,
but I just left and rejoined.
Oh,
so
great. Yep, turn it off and on again.
Yeah, I was like, well, he obviously can't see or hear me, or I'm frozen. So I will rejoin.
Yeah, lost your video, lost your audio. I don't know what happened. Yeah. Okay.
I think I was just talking about, I don't know.
Okay.
Mr. Farm Boy, probably.
Yeah. No, I think it's interesting because one of my main questions that I have is because you seem to have a good talent for getting viable games shipped. And I think and I'm trying to, in my mind as a game developer, I'm trying to break down like, okay, what does the skill set look like? And so I guess one of my questions that I have for you is, how much of your most recent project, a game about feeding a black hole, how much of the success of that game would you attribute to luck versus skill?
Yeah. This question is so hard. It's not. I shouldn't say it's so hard. There's opposing views.
Yeah.
I think Andy had done a video and said like he thought it's luck, and I'm complete opposite. And I think it's there's an aspect of luck.
Yeah.
Like fundamentally, there's going to be some factor of luck. I could send out the emails and have a great game, and literally no content creator covers it because that day, I don't know, Gmail server has an issue and none of my emails go out.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how good your game is. You just got really bad luck.
Yep.
But I think, I don't think there's any way for me to know what the upper bound of what a game can make is. I think there's ways of me knowing or decreasing the chance of what the floor is of a game. So how bad a game might do. And that's not like indefinite. Like I can do a game and say like, oh, for sure it's not going to be like a 200,000 floor game. Mm-hmm. I think I just have a good idea as we're progressing of like, okay, game worst case, looking through everything and how it's doing and the feedback we're getting, we're probably going to sell X copies.
Yeah.
And like in some range. And then I know, okay, the game's at least going to do X.
Yeah.
And that's kind of all I've been approaching it. I think it's shapeable. Like I think 3 out of 3 games. Doesn't mean fourth isn't going to be a flop. I always say, just like in software development, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. There will be a flop, period. You misjudge the market. I've seen games with 100,000 wish lists but get 1% conversion. Like it can happen.
Yeah.
Shaping it, I think I have a really hard time describing it. I don't know if it's just 15 years of like enterprise software building and just being so business focused that to me, it's like asking a fish, how do you like breathe underwater, right? Like they just do.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. It
I can look at it.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I can look at a game and if the other person is open to feedback and aren't going to get butthurt, generally I'm pretty confident in whether or not the game is going to hit like some minimum thresholds. Yeah. Just looking at like just how they approach development as one aspect, like how open are they, how much flexibility are they in their design criteria, what's the trailers look like, what's the screenshots, what's the gameplay look like, what's the first 2 minutes of the game.
Yeah. So
far, and I've done probably about over 50 game audits at this point, I'm over 80% on like, someone will come and be like, I think I have a great game. And I'm like, don't really think so. Yeah. And they're like, I'm going to launch it. And I'm like, back end, I have Excel sheet. I'm like, I think game's going to do X. And it's pretty close.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's always right. There's definitely games that have shocked me.
Yeah.
But I just a good eye for it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm perceiving as well. Is as you're talking, it seems like you are emphasizing 2 things. One is observing KPIs, so very data oriented, trying to follow the numbers where you think that they can lead to the outcome that you want. And then the other one that I hear you saying is a very high quality filter. And so as things come in front of you, you are able to unabashedly, critique them and make them better, or say like, maybe even like, I don't know what the next move is, but this isn't it. And we need to like keep pivoting until we find what works. Do you think that's a fair summary?
Yes. I think the only thing I could expand on it is I try and work with the systems that are in place. What I mean is I just recently talked to a dev who I think they have a game that could be stellar, like honestly quite stellar, like over $100,000 of sales. And, but I don't think it will. Because talking to them, they have a design criteria of like, they don't want a game to have meta progression. Like, it's just, that's how they're designing their game. They're not willing to move on it. And when I look at the game and how it's playing out and like how much effort the player has to put, and the player is going to grind, but it's grind of knowledge for the game. And like, that's what they're designing the game for, and that's happy. But I'm like, I don't, like when I look at other games, that's not kind of what the Steam audience is looking for. Yeah. It doesn't mean that game can't work that way. Yeah. I just think it's harder to achieve that. Yeah. Like a game like He Is Coming is kind of like that. It's kind of this like grind of knowledge to understand what combinations of equipment you want. Yeah. For sure, this works. Like the game is sold like hotcakes. Now, what if I told you there's like 80 games that fail behind that? Yeah. And for the games that are meta progression, it's like, well, the one success, there's only 20 games that fail behind that. And I'm just more like, I'm going to work with that trend that says like, hey, it's probably safer to go with this, and kind of make it where the casual player will always be able to get through your game and not be so hardcore where it's like, well, you just know or you don't know. Yeah. So just finding that for the audience of Steam and building a game that matches that, like, I want to build games and build a business around building games, regardless of what it takes to do that. So I will build. I've said this elsewhere. I hate idler desktop games. I just hate them. Personally, as a player, I do not like these games. Like, I think they're great for players who do them. I think I could design a game around that. I personally just don't like them. Yeah. But if I went through the data and I look at everything and I thought, oh wow, there's a huge Steam audience for that, and like this is easy to cater to these people, I'd be building them.
Yeah.
I think that's hard for a lot of people to hear or want.
Yeah.
They want to build their dream, and I'm willing to build the things to eventually build the dream.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so this is something that I come up with a lot in my conversations with other developers, is this tension between game dev as an art form and then game dev as a viable career. And a lot of those times those kind of butt heads, and you have to make decisions that kind of, weigh one or the other. Would you rather make something that you feel like you are able to express your creative vision more, but like make less money, or vice versa? So I think that's yeah.
I think that's where I really struggle.
Yeah.
Like if I go, like for those who are talking about designing art form and creativity, I really ask them to go find somebody who is honestly, like a top 1% in their industry, and go ask them if they do projects that they do not necessarily want to do.
Yeah.
And plenty of them do. And they actually look at the opposite. They're like, I don't normally do this, but I found that a challenge in itself to find a way to achieve what I creatively wanted to do, but in a different constraint that normally I don't have, normally not forced to do.
Yeah.
Like, particularly with like architects, I've had the pleasure of talking with some pretty well-renowned architects, and the very great people usually are like this. Mm-hmm. It's like they will pick projects sometimes that they don't even want personally to do, but they know it's going to level them up and challenge them, and like to go to the next level of their creativity, they're going to have to go outside of that comfort.
Yeah.
So I really hope people just look at it as like, find that spot where it's like, yeah, that's not the creativity you normally want to do, and you're maybe disliking it, but like go see, like go try and make it. How would you do it if you had to? Like, if I told you your life depended upon it, like, if I said like your kid literally depends on it for you to do this, how would you do it?
Yeah.
And just work back from that. Like, or ask yourself, what would it take for me to find enjoyment in this thing that I don't necessarily do? Like for desktop idlers, I know I would have to have some active component that probably has some level of like prestiging in it to get the player to re-interact with it, because that's the type of game I would like to play. Or I do desktop idler that's like multiplayer, where you play across with your friend on the other desktop, so you feel collectively like you're striving towards a goal. Like, even though I hate these and I don't want to build them, if I ask myself what would it take for me to build it, okay, I found something right there that's actually kind of fun and sounds like, oh, multiplayer desktop idler, that would be different.
Yeah, I like that.
Maybe that's just Farmville.
Yeah, right. But I like that a lot. This idea of constraints can breed creativity, because you actually have rules that bound what the creativity could be. And if it's just all open-ended, then sometimes you can just get lost because it's too open.
Some of the greatest creative moments I've had in my professional career, even outside game dev, have been insane constraints. Like, come up with a couple $1 million in 3 months in some way, or we're going to lay off a bunch of people. Trust me, you can come up with things that you have all the data. I spent 5 years at a company, interacted with all these systems, known everything. And why is it that I'm able to approach a problem differently after 5 years, just because this constraint that had to reshape my perspective? There is a good video on this. I think his name is AstroTeller. He was or is the CEO of X, I think it's, well, I guess it's not called X anymore because Twitter's now called X, but Google X, X Labs, I think is what it was called. And it was Alphabet's division of moonshots. And through that, they talk about how, big bets can yield things, but you have to look at different perspective. It's like, how would we build something that's utterly insane and work back? Because it's not, the work is nonlinear usually. So let's say a game about feeding a black hole makes $1 million. And if you ask me, what would it take to make a $10 million game? It would not be 10x the effort.
Yeah.
Our timeline would probably not have 10x. It might be 50%, it might be 60%, but it might be 3x, but it is nonlinear. So if you can work back there, you can start reshaping what you would imagine.
Yeah.
Real life example, YouTube. There's an article online about the founders of Google at the time. They have a meeting and they're like, yay, they reduced buffering by 80% or something. Yay, beat the KPIs, everyone's cheering. And Sergey or Larry, I don't remember which of the co-founders, had said, what would it take to eliminate buffering entirely? And they're all like, impossible. You would have to run YouTube on every computer because there's network connectivity. You'd have to do this and that and this and this. And he just asked, so why don't we start chipping away at some of those problems? And this led to actually reinventing how bitrate adaptivity happens so that you can dynamically change the bit rates of the video to decrease the quality so you don't drop. We move the content closer to the user, so it can't be on every computer, but if I get it closer to you and if I know there's a subset that drives a larger percentage of traffic, less chance of disruption. Like they reimagined the entire problem just from 80% buffering decrease is great, but what happens if we want 100% elimination?
Interesting.
You have to change the perspective.
Yeah.
So
when you think about the games that you've worked on and the game that you just launched, and I asked you like how much of it was luck versus skill, but I guess like another way to frame that is, do you think it's reproducible? Because it seems like you are having good success with the games that you work on. And so what is your level of confidence, or what have you learned that you will bring into your next project that can give you some degree of confidence?
So a game of Feeding Black Hole is like, a low chance of exceeding or doing. Like my chance of starting a game, putting in, let's say 800, 900 hours and hitting another million plus gross game is low. It might change as we start a project and get more data and more feedback. But if you ask me, like, what's my confidence of, we can net positive ROI given our time and have a sustainable business moving forward with these games, is like 100%.
Yeah.
Like as high as 100% could probably be within reason. So not really 100%. Like I know there's a chance that we do flop, but like that's baked in the model too.
Yeah.
Like we don't assume that a game nets out positive. When I say that, I don't mean money in, money out, and we all just made enough to continue the dream. I mean, no, money out is enough that we factor in flops to this. Like Click and Conquer was a game where me and Stefan knew that it could not just be positive, like pay us whatever it was, minimum wage or 2x minimum wage, because it means every game we are doing then has to be a success. And again, we just knew one of these is good flop. And we didn't want the pressure either.
Yeah.
Like if you set yourself up where every game's got to pay your bills and there's nothing extra to create a buffer, it means you're under a tremendous amount of pressure.
Yeah.
You make bad choices. Why? Because timelines, and it needs to be a success.
Yeah.
So you start saying like, well, I know the right thing is X, but I don't have the time to do that. I have to do this other thing. Yeah. So very, very confident that we can sustain building games, at least in the shape that we are. Again, we're not trying to build Schedule 1 type of games here. We're not going out right now and saying we're going to go build a game for 2 years.
Yeah.
Those are higher risk bets, and we're just not in a spot where either of us feel comfortable doing that. It's much more sense to continue keeping smaller scope bets that we can take, 2, 3 a year, and 2 out of 3 flop, and 1 out of 3 of those pay for the other 2 and sustain us. Like great, we get back to, I call it the slot machine handle. To pull it again. And the thing that a lot of game devs don't see, mostly because it's like you're just worried and focused about shipping a game and you're not thinking about running like a business empire, it's non-linear on Steam. It's this exponential curve. It's like once you have even a modest success, you can leverage that to have further successes. Like let's talk about not a game about Feeding Black Hole, Click and Conquer. I think this is much more attainable for people. So we're talking about a game that does 150,000 in gross and 40,000 copies. It's still a big leap, but we're not talking about $1 million plus game here. Yeah. Also, Click and Conquer launched with 3,000 wish lists. This is barely attainable for people. I'm not saying every 3,000 game is going to hit that, but so that came out. So it's done well enough it will get approved for a daily deal. So when Stefan and I want to launch our next game, we're going to launch on the day where the daily deal is. We'll co-bundle the new game and Click and Conquer. And Click and Conquer will get the daily deal. So we'll get an influx of new people seeing it. We'll post about it on the page. We'll update the game in-game to say about we've launched in our game. Yeah. This will drive some percentage over to the new game, which will likely secure like popular and trending, which means the game will sell at least 10,000 copies on the lowest possible end on that being on the popular up and coming. So right there, it's like, okay, game's already positive ROI for us to build the next game. Yeah. Like, but if you're just a dev thinking about building a fun game, you're not thinking about the business mindset of like, how do I align up all my ducks to succeed and to mitigate risk?
Yeah. Yeah. You have to look more than one project into the future. And that can help you. I really like what you said about raising the floor about each launch. And it made me think like, what are some, how do you raise that floor? And what are the mistakes that you see other game developers making? That's very common.
So that ties into pretty good of what I was saying is like raising the floor. If you already have a success, you can just leverage that same success.
Yeah.
Also, if you're mentally able to do it, you do game in similar genre, you reuse a lot of what you already had. It doesn't need to be exact, but like, okay, you already built a save system, you already built a load system, you already built a skill tree, like well, decrease your time. Yeah. That's one of the variables of how successful the game needs to be is how much time did you put in? Yeah. Is how much it's going to have to yield. On other factors of like raising the floor, I mean, going through and understanding where you spent a lot of your time and where you can cut, like reusing the same stuff will save you time, but what took up the most time? Was it the idea? Was it QAing? Was it mechanics? Like people don't track that. Yeah. And I don't mean you need to track every minute of every day. I mean, like, generally, if you can't say, like Game of Feeding Black Hole, I know we're probably combined between me and Andy, 800 to 1,000 hours. Total time. But combined. Yeah. But we didn't, Andy was really rigorously tracking it initially. And then it was like, that dropped off to, as long as we hit Next Fest, we're good. And that it became more target dateline than just how many hours we're spending. But I know 800 to 1,000 hours. And if you ask me, like, where did we spend enormous amounts of time? POC discovery phase with these 12 turn mechanics and QA. Yeah. Of like balancing out the game. So next game, when we're talking about this, is like, well, how do we minimize these? How do we not spend as much time? Like QA, I'm like, maybe I could build better tooling. Maybe I could have the skill tree give us more data. Maybe we could have better analytics. So when we have playtesters go through, we could have a better assessment of where we should be tuning. Yeah. Maybe we can leverage playtesters earlier. So it's not just all me doing the QA. Yeah. And if you have the analytics, you can ship more than one game too. Yeah. And factor that in originally. Like if you have smaller games and you maintain your runway, like let's say someone's fortunate enough to have 2 years of runway, and you come and you cap your games at a hard limit of 6 months. Okay, you're going to ship 3 games with downtime and sick days and all that. 3 games. So it's like, okay, so can you pick 3 games in roughly the same genre? Because then they'll make sense to bundle across each other. And if one's good, you could bundle across. And then guess what? You're selling not 1 copy of your game, you're selling 3 copies of your game. Yeah. Not everyone's going to buy your bundles. It's going to be a subset, but even 6% of a relatively popular game, like when we're talking about 40,000 copies sold on a Click and Conquer, and we're talking about 2,000 copies, that's 2,000 on game 1, 2,000 on game 2, that's 4,000, 2,000 on game 3, that's 6,000 copies. Yeah. You know, making in incremental space cheap games. So we're talking like $2 to $3 that's going to your pocket after Steam Cut and after everything else. You know, we're talking 12 to 18,000 USD on not new effort. Yeah. We're talking about 30 minutes of like you're planning, yes, but 30 minutes on Steam backend to actually set up the bundle across your games.
Yeah. Yeah, this is something that I've been thinking about a lot, is that I consider myself a tryhard, and realizing that in a lot of times, I should slow down and take the time to work smarter and not harder. And I think that is something that probably other people struggle with too, because there's like low-hanging fruit like this, like bundle strategy, that developers just have no concept of. And so I think it's hard to get that sort of exposure to strategies for sales like that unless you are rubbing shoulders with other developers or publishers.
Humble Bundle allows you to list your game on their store, not doing like a Humble Bundle just on the stores to sell copies through just the platform.
Yeah.
And the irony is, I've had people like almost laugh when I tell them to list. They're like, "It's only going to sell like 200 copies, man." I'm like, "But it takes you 40 minutes to set up."
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, we're talking about 40 minutes for like $600 of money.
Yeah.
Show me your Excel sheet for a game.
Yeah.
Where are you making that kind of ROI per hour?
Yeah.
But it's only 600. No, forget the total amount.
Yeah.
Think about what your hourly ROI is. Like there's the same thing for the bundles. You could say like, well, you know, how much is it going to really sell? It's going to sell maybe 50 copies with this other smaller game. Yeah, but how long did it take you to set up the bundle?
Yeah.
Like it could be $100 for 40 minutes on the bundle.
Yeah. Yeah. Lots of people are thinking in terms of bottom line, but I like it how you keep bringing it back to hourly wage, because you realize what your time is worth.
Well, and I think a big question I ask people is like, do you want to make, 50,000 but have to work 10 hours a week, or do you want to make 100,000 and make 40 have to work 40 hours a week? And I think a lot of people say the 50-10, but in reality will select the 100,000 40 hours.
Yeah.
Because they see the bigger number and they want the money to go spend stuff and buy stuff. And
Right.
I'm like, the other is freedom though.
Yeah.
Like you get 30 hours back. What else do you want to do with 30 hours? You want to make the other 50K a year?
Right.
And for those who live in like progressive tax systems, which most of people, it's like you're not even getting the full 50 difference.
Yeah.
Like you're probably getting 25K difference on that after taxes and everything. So, I mean, it's still more money. It's still 75K versus whatever 40K after tax.
Yeah.
But it's not 50 and 100. It's
Right.
even smaller actually.
Yeah. I'm interested, as you're developing these games and trying to make decisions and track and collaborate and do all of these things that go into building a business and launching games, what tools do you utilize that are most helpful for you? Like, do you use like calendars, to-do lists, time tracking tools, spreadsheets? Do you have like your own sort of set of calculated spreadsheets that you use, or some sort of other productivity tech stack that help you keep data in front of you, like in a dashboard that can help you make informed decisions, anything like that?
I wish I could say I built out some like custom Prometheus Grafana dashboard that pulls in everything, and I got like a smart watch on me that tracks all my stats, so I know my optimal like O2 levels. And but no, I'm pretty much like everyone else. I use Google Calendar. I use Drive. I used to use Notion, and I just said, you know what? I'm building a mind map, and I'm not really even using it anyways. So what's really the point if I'm not leveraging it? So I just scrap that. It's like, and I think we look for tools because we think there's some secret to the formula. And a lot of it is just going to come down to like building a system that works for yourself, whatever that means. You struggle to get work done? Well, when are you doing the work? At night, after your day job, after your kids. Then move it till the morning. Get up earlier. Go to sleep earlier. Go talk to your partner about like, can we squeeze time here, or I can't be available on the weekend for 2 hours because I have to go and lock myself in a room. Right? Tooling is, for most people, you're not at the spot where you're worried about like, how do I maximize literally every hour of my day? Like, even in Game of Feeding About Black Hole, and this is not like boohoo, you need to work more and grind more. It's just for context. Like I was doing that, and I had a DevOps contract for 40 hours, and like it's 80-hour work weeks. I'm not saying go grind and you should be putting in every hour. I'm just saying like there was no tooling that was going to save me in there.
Yeah.
It was just like just effective use of my time of like, I know I need to have a conversation with like my wife and be like, I'm not going to be available as much. You're going to have to do more of the kid chores because I'm literally doing 2 whole jobs at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, getting flexibility with Andy around our meetings so he knew like I'm not available during 9 to 5. I can only work at night. So he would work during the day on his stuff and then we'd collab at nighttime.
Yep.
So I do think I can recommend TidyCal. I recommend it actually to you instead of Calendarly because it's lifetime, like $30 and you do spend a lot of time, not you, the like collective you, try and go back and forth on dates.
Yeah.
Oh, what works for you? And it's like I just send people a link. I'm like, book it. There you go.
Yep.
Syncs up with my calendar.
Yep.
Outside of that, nope. I do have some Excel sheets that I like cobbled together, but they're nothing even like crazy fancy. It's like hard coded numbers that I just kind of have a good gauge of like, oh, wish list conversions this number and 72 hours off of this number is going to be this, and the data posts on the other people who've done all the heavy work say like 1 week times this is the yearly range. Oh, okay. Like,
yeah, that's great. That's helpful for me because I've tried different tools over the years trying to stay organized, and I've found that really the most helpful thing for me is just being able to feel like I can record my thoughts, get them out on paper, or whatever notes or whatever calendar, just so that I can empty my space. And so however that happens, I've used Post-it notes, I've used like Google Calendar, like whatever. But as long as I can get stuff out of my head, I feel like that helps me breathe and stay organized.
I do have a lot of tools that are one-offs or semi-one-offs, though. I will say to look at what you're doing day to day and finding spots that is eating up a lot of time. And you're like, how much time would it be with whatever Gemini or ChatGPT or Claude or next gen, whatever model, to quickly build out something that just works for you. Like I had a tool that used ChatGPT for localization because I didn't want to go and copy and paste every single thing into Google Translate one by one. It's going to be way too long. Yep. It took me like an hour to write the tool versus it's going to take me like 4 hours each time to do the translation. Yep. It's also, it changes a bunch as we change the game. So I knew, okay, put up the hour front and it'll pay itself. Each time we ran it, it's like 2 cents on the API. So I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. Enter, done.
Nice.
For getting content creators for Game of Feeding Black Hole, I did write like a reverse search tool off of YouTube.
Oh, nice.
Like, given my game, games that I know similar to Game of Feeding Black Hole. So let's start with Keep on Mining. Go find me every creator that covered Keep on Mining. And then find me all the games that they covered. And then go search for all the creators who covered those games. Yeah. So like a reverse, if you're, don't want to date myself, but a reverse Yellow Pages, I guess, is some way of thinking about it. Yeah. And then it was like, okay, get all the local languages for all those channels based off of their titles, so I know what language they are, and put it all in a spreadsheet. Because this would take me 300 to 400 hours manually. Yeah. And it's the hardest problem is it's unknowns. How do I even know what games exist? How do I even know what content creator to search for if you don't know the content creator? So you just have to kind of build something to go and find. And then I can do the manual work, whatever, CAPTCHA. I'll go sign up 50 YouTube accounts and go through all the CAPTCHAs. Yeah. Took me 18 hours of going through CAPTCHAs.
Nice.
But we had the list.
Nice.
And could I have automated that? I'm sure somehow the model I could get through the CAPTCHA or like Mechanical Turk integrate and outsource that, but that was going to be too much work. Yeah. And I was like, I can just grind through the 18 hours. Yeah. But 300 hours of trying to find this, copy paste on the Excel sheet. Yeah. No. Tool took me like maybe 4 or 5 hours. Tool did take 9 hours to run. Because obviously, keep it simple, guys. You could say, what happens if they block us? No, just add a very long delay between requests. Yeah. But Corey, that doesn't scale. Doesn't need to scale. I'll let it run for 9 hours. Yeah. I don't need 1,000 concurrent requests going out. Yeah. I'll just let the sucker run. It has a restore state. If it does fail, it goes back to the Excel sheet. Where was it? Enter, restart. Like some people go all fancy, be like, I need to be integrated to proxy and all this stuff and hide my IP. I ran for my local.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great.
Like,
Yeah, just make it look like normal web traffic. Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
So what? It took 9 hours. I only had to run it once.
Yeah, that's amazing. One thing that I wanted to talk to you about is, I'm interested to hear your viewpoint of what it felt like starting this project, going through the development, going into launch, and then post-launch. Because I know that a lot of people listening to this are probably thinking like, man, this guy has an amazing, successful launch under his belt. He must be feeling so good, like on cloud nine. And I've seen some stuff that you've posted online publicly that it hasn't been as sunshine and rainbows as some people might assume. And so I'd be really interested to hear kind of your progression of how the experience has been going through this process of your most recent game.
Yeah. Let me just open the window. You can cut this part. There you go. There, I'll give Thomas editing work. Here, I'll make a giant clap so you can know where it is in the sound.
No, I'm just going to let it in. Or leave it in.
Oh, that's all right.
No, I'm just kidding.
So, I think, obviously I know it's a great success. I appreciate it being a great success. Humble for that. Like, yeah, I'm super excited about it. I know many people want to be in this boat. Boo-hoo, Corey. Everything you're going to say is like, cry me, like play the little violin. But, you know, I didn't feel a lot on the success side of the game. I think mostly because when Click and Conquer happened, it was like cloud nine. Because like I'd never really done anything in game dev. And this game went from like a nothing game, not even on popular up and coming, 3,000 wish lists, no real marketing strategy aside from like email and pray, and like we didn't even have a huge mailing list. Like everything you're not supposed to do, we kind of did in that game.
Yeah. And
you know, for a first time ever, you're watching a video upload and you're like, oh my god, 25,000 views, and oh my god, 80,000 views, and like, oh, there's a video every day, and you refresh. The purchases come in, you're like, refresh. I remember like every 30 seconds, just like refresh. Oh my god, there's another, like, I can't believe this. Oh, like, so when Game of the Feeding Black Hole, I looked and was like, yeah, this is pretty likely to be a pretty big success. Like, I remember telling Andy, like, for 2 weeks, like, you're just going to be mentally dopamine fried. Like, there's no other way to describe it to people who haven't gone through it. It's like you're just wired and you're just fried, and it's like you can't really think properly. Everything's like ASAP panic because you're worried about a bug, but like everything's new and you're checking all the places for videos and saying thank you and comments and discussion boards, and like you don't even process the victory really during it. It's just like this high of dopamine. Nice thing is already going through that once, it kind of was like, yeah, okay, video content creator covered it. And there were some new records like, wow, this one did 500,000. And you're like, yeah, but it's just another content creator covering it. Look, the numbers went up on Steam Workshop. Okay, great. They went up higher than the other one. I also kind of grounded myself knowing that like not to get into that cycle this time because it's just a spiral and it's not productive. So when the game launched, me and Andy got on a call and I was like, he pressed release and he already knew this. I was like, here's my number. If game blows up, call. I'm going for breakfast. See ya. And for 3-4 hours, I didn't even check.
That's nuts.
I had a message before I suppressed notifications of like, oh, game looks like it did well. That's the only indication I had. Like it wasn't even like games X or Y. And came home, was like, I'm going to record this moment. I look at the numbers and I'm like, holy shit. Like 2,000 concurrent users. I'm like, okay, it's a rocket ship. Like definitely that moment there was a lot processing. And for context too, like, you know, I didn't want to ruin the moment for Andy, but like up until like 2 months before release, there's just so much that happened in my life. I had like a lifetime cat pass away. I had a colleague pass away. I had my grandma pass away. Like literally the weekend of the release, my grandma passed away. So, it was just like almost neutral state. You didn't really feel anything because there's so much good and like so much excitement and so much bad that you're just like, it is what it is. Like, I know life is happening. This is life. Like, there's no infinite time. Like, it was a weird spot. So I tell people most time it's not going to be like this. Most of the time you're going to be like click and conquer. And you're going to be like, oh my God, refresh. Yeah. But it's always easier from the outside is what I tell people. I had somebody see the game on Twitch and tell me that they were inspired and hoped to do that. And the irony is the Twitch streamer, I told them like, bro, I wish I could do what you do. Like I'm watching what they're doing on stream and I'm like, I can't do that. Man, that's so impressive. Like just like they're on every day streaming. They're doing like performance optimization stuff and like how much knowledge they have. And like they said, that's very kind. And like I said, yeah, because it's easier always looking in. You see success of like what's going on, but then you don't see all the other stuff. And like you can watch the video diaries, but like maybe Andy was much more calmer because I don't know if it was like, in his words, like naiveness or blissfulness to the numbers and not really grasping how big of a chance there was. But like, I remember waking up in the night with night terrors, not because I thought the game was going to be bad, but I thought we were going to mess up an opportunity. Like I could see where this could be. So it was always like, we're one failure, we're one bad step away from ruining that. And that was like, I did not like that, to be honest. Like I don't know how to describe it for those who haven't gone through it, but like, imagine you're sitting there and someone's telling you like, if you do ABC flawless, I'll write you $1 million check. And you're like, yeah, but you have to do ABC flawless. And any mistake, any tiny mistake can jeopardize this. Like I remember one point we changed the UI. Well, Andy had to change the UI and he was so proud of it. I remember this moment and it was actually a good improvement. But there was something around like, I think we removed when you hover to indicate like it's a button clickable because he wanted like this clean, crisp vibe. And I remember bringing it to my wife and my wife's like, what do I do? Like, how do I get in the game? And I'm like, dead game. We're ruined. We're ruined. Like if this goes out, like no one's going to play it. No one's going to know how. The demo's going to flop. Like just a list of like, you think of every possible negative thing that could happen. You spiral. How do I convince Andy to add this? And like he's all happy with his design and he's saying like he thinks it should be this way. And I'm like, so it will be a roller coaster if you're there and you get to this point of having a game that it doesn't need to be this well. Just whatever your subjective is really good goal is, it's a roller coaster. Or you're very steady and not as emotional as me, I guess.
I think it would be really hard to be steady in that situation. That's pretty insane. Dang. That's cool. And I appreciate going through your video logs that you uploaded to YouTube and just kind of seeing the authenticity of going through kind of like leading up to launch and then post launch. I felt like it was a really neat perspective to see because usually you see like big game launches and then somebody posts like a highly polished video and they're like, here's how much money I made, and I feel like there is there's real life happening behind the scenes too, and I think that's a really cool thing to draw people.
I didn't even want to edit them. Like I had uploaded them with like premiere date just to be like they're set in stone. Like I don't want to change them. I don't want people to see it beforehand. Selfishly I realized at one point there was an opportunity for this to do well, and I thought, okay, I should record this because I don't want to be. Oh well, it's easy to say that now that you have a dashboard that says 1 million to say that you always thought it would be a great success.
Right.
So I thought, okay, I'd rather look like an idiot and it not be that good,
Yeah.
then for everyone to say, well, of course you're going to say that now because the game did so well.
Yeah.
And you could see the evolution in some of the videos of like, you know, I didn't think it was always going to be as big as it is. I think there's a podcast I was on also that I do give some stats, and you know, you can just see progressively getting more confident in how well the game is going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I liked the videos because if you truly want to live in that moment and see what it is, there's nothing more truthful. There's no script. There's giant pauses. It's probably the worst YouTube content out there because there's zero editing. There's no script. I just literally turn on the stuff.
Yeah.
I think on one of them, I don't even turn the light off. So there's like a giant beam off my forehead. And then I realized, okay, I got to put some level of effort, just at least turn the light off.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish I would have did more of it. Mm-hmm. I wish that me and Andy would have did more of these as we went because it's nice to look back and reflect. But it was good enough to make the point and to be able to share to people and just like, look, it's not all rainbows and sunshine, and some is going to be terrifying and some is going to be super exciting, and it's a lot of this up and down and up and down. So
dang. So what's next for Corey Darby?
I don't know. It's kind of in flux. We're figuring it out. Is the short answer.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think there's just had our 2026 meeting, me and Andy, trying to be like, okay, well, like, what's this actually look like? Do we continue making games together? Do we make a company together? Are we partners in this journey? Mm-hmm. Like, how big do you want? I mean, I joke to my wife. I said, look, I'm down for whatever. It's just up to Andy how many zeros he wants at the end of his bank account.
That's great.
Like, I think I found a piece of what I do really well. For me, it's just intrinsically natural to just see how it all forms. So it's like, if you want to build like a $10 million plus company in game dev space, to me, that's like just easy. I don't mean easy to do. I mean easy to envision of like what we'd have to do, where we're going, what we'd have to disrupt, what we'd have to build. Yeah. Shocker, it's not just build games. Yeah. Not even close. Yep. It's not go try and build a $10 million game. I mean, that is an approach. That's not the approach I would take. Yeah. You know, but if you want a cozy lifestyle of like, look, I just want to have money in the bank and not have to worry and build a game a year and cool. Like, okay, we can build that path and we can de-risk it much more than the other one. Yeah. I'm always wired to think like this. It's just always like, what's the angle? What's the min-max? Like even what's the exploitation? Like when we're going shopping, I'm like, oh, if I combine this coupon with this coupon, maybe I could get the product free. Like it's just so natural to me, like for that stuff. So what's next is really a question of piece of like, what does Andy want to do? Mm-hmm. My dream is let's go to business together. Whatever. He runs the company. He has the majority. I don't even want the ownership. Like I don't want to be the number one. I don't want the control. Mm-hmm. I want the benefit of the scoreboard when it succeeds. Mm-hmm. Like I want equitable stakes in it, right? In terms of like, I don't mean even. I just mean equity in the sense of like, if I do well and you do well, we both do well. Yeah. And you know, for anyone who's like, why? It gets complicated. Like, okay, so game about feeding black hole, it's a rev share deal, right? That works fine. It's mostly like a handshake deal. I think we had like 6 points in an email essentially of like, look, if the game does really well and either of us try to screw each other, there's a document paper trail. Yeah, it's not like a lawyer 30-page doc that covers all things, but it's enough that like if the game really succeeds, the lawyers would be able to figure it out on what's written. Yeah. But it's like, as long as neither of us do that, like we just need to move forward and just, you know, pay me when the money comes in and we're golden. Yeah. It gets more complicated if you start considering things like, do you want to both be motivated to continue to make this game as successful as it could be?
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's say what we agreed to was like a limited time rev share.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's say it's 2 years. So if I make this game incredibly successful, further than 2 years, do I really have advantage? Yeah, in the first 2 years I do, but not really if not. Do I want to continue to make the game as successful as it possibly could be if there's a V2?
Mm-hmm.
Well, do I have IP or do I not have IP? What did it say?
Right.
What about games similar to it but reuse the engine or don't reuse the engine?
Yeah.
What happens if we want to work with somebody else on another game?
Mm-hmm.
Because that runs counter. Like, if we're going to work on another game together, and Andy goes, oh, but I want to work with Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that kind of screws me over because I'm losing more of your time.
Right.
So I actually get disadvantaged there. Same thing if I did it.
Yeah.
Me and Andy are working together, and I said, oh, Thomas, let's work together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually kind of partially screwing over Andy because I'm taking away time from our project.
Right.
Especially if it moves at deadlines. Like,
Yeah.
let's say we're like, oh, February Next Fest, this game. And then I go to you, and I'm like, cool, you want to do a game for February Next Fest? Yeah, I'll just move the other game out of Next Fest.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
but Andy's banking on the game shipping.
Yeah.
So it becomes easier when you both collectively know, like, you can sit there and agree, like, yeah, it's actually more beneficial for us to do, for me to do X or you to do Y, but we actually benefit from it both.
Yeah.
Like, as a partner, you don't necessarily care if you're stopped working, if there's benefit to that.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not thinking about individually, you're thinking about the company.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of what we talked about at the, I don't know if it was on the recording or not, but about, I think it was on the recording about the execs and hiring. Yes, it was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do what just necessarily benefits me the most, and Andy does whatever benefits him the most.
Yeah.
I want to build the thing that benefits the entity the most.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as our goals and what we morally envision for that to be, as long as we're abiding by that, so be it.
Yeah.
I will put on as many zeros as humanly possible onto that,
Mm-hmm.
within reason.
Yeah.
Guys, we're not going to build a $1 billion company.
Yeah.
Not yet, at least.
That's fun.
Steam, I'm coming for you.
Yeah. Oh man, could you imagine? That's wild. That's cool. That sounds like a really, really exciting vision leading into 2026, though.
I do think that the space is in a unique spot right now. I'm looking at how well indies are doing. I'm looking at the publisher model, which has almost never made sense to me.
Yeah.
But even more than ever, it's not making sense. Like, some of the cuts are just disproportional. It's like, oh, if you haven't proven yourself, it's like 80% to publisher, 20% to you. They get full recoup up front.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 70-30.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know there's risk on their side because, like, if you're non-proven, like, okay, there's no wish list, there's no traction.
Mm-hmm.
They're writing you a check to basically continue development.
Mm-hmm.
But, there's also other contracts that are like games that I know will do decent and still it's like, oh, we're going to take half.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what? Half for what?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk it through. Localization, QA, marketing. I put quotes because a lot of them it's like, we have a mailing list that we just blast.
Yeah.
And the contracts are usually in such a way where you think you're going to get marketing dollars to spend, but you don't. It's if the game does certain metrics and well enough, we put money in.
Yeah.
Of course you're going to put money in.
Yeah.
If the game is selling like hotcakes and you're like, we can accelerate this and make more money, why would you not put the money in?
Right.
But devs will read it and think, oh, there's going to be a $50,000 marketing spend. Asterisks.
Mm-hmm.
If the game hits certain thresholds, they're going to actually put the money in for marketing.
Yeah.
So you're giving up half, let's say half in this scenario, for living costs to finish development.
Yeah.
And there's a place and time for that. I know some people need that to achieve what they want to achieve.
Yeah.
But there are other people around just like, you know what? You should probably just delay, go work a shitty job, save up the money, and don't give out 50%.
Mm-hmm.
Not even venture capitalists take 50%.
Yeah.
Because in the VC world, when you're when you're running a startup, they know you're going to need more equity to raise another round.
Mm-hmm.
To build the company further for them to get a multiplier high enough for what they want.
Yeah.
They're not even taking 50% of the company.
Mm-hmm.
And they're putting down $1 million checks on stuff. Like, obviously there's more than like just an idea. But I just think the model's broken, and I think the value add is limited.
Yeah.
I mean, like localization, it's like, okay, just hire the company yourself.
Yeah.
Build up a good enough community. Oh, we didn't do real localization for a game about feeding black hole. ChatGPT and then a bunch of people offered to do localization when the game blew up, and we took them up on their offer. Would it have been better to hire a localization company? Probably. But guess what? The game shipped well, it sold well, and now the next game, maybe we do spend some money on that.
Yeah.
Marketing, we didn't sponsor a single person.
Mm-hmm.
It's all organic.
Mm-hmm.
So it's time and effort and just follow up and make good game.
Mm-hmm.
There's a place and time for ads and marketing spend. Again, is the game in a spot now that makes sense? Yes. But the same thing as the publisher. When the game does well enough is when you turn on those knobs.
Yeah.
The game has done well enough where we don't need a publisher capital. We could just capital fund it ourselves.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, makes sense.
So,
do you have ideas for how you would change the publisher model?
I think the value add needs to be changed.
Yeah.
I think the percentages need to an open model. So, I want to be, for those who maybe are more dev-like, there's something called Y Combinator. It's an incubator for tech startups in San Francisco. It's world renowned. It's like very selective, and it's kind of like a prestigious badge to get in. If you get in, most people think your startup is going to be the shit just being in it. Mm-hmm. Like there's reputation just behind that because they've had such great success. But they're open on everything. It's like they take like a 12%, I think, or maybe even less equity stake. I'm not saying it would be 12% on this model. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying they're open and transparent about what they take, what you get, and what are the resources. Mm-hmm. And I think a publisher model that is literally, you go to page and it's like, you fill out the application. This is what our fee structure looks like. This is the value you get. This is exactly what we do. Mm-hmm. I don't think, to my knowledge, a single publisher in the industry even does this.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone publishes publicly at all their numbers.
Yeah.
And I know there's some dynamics, like it depends on how much wish. You put a range. Yeah. You put an upper cap. Mm-hmm. A maximum of our deals is X. Or tiers. Brand new people, you're going to be roughly around here. Mm-hmm. People who are well established, people who shipped games. You put the little asterisks, subject to change, experience criteria, yada, yada. Yeah. But I don't think it needs to be some secret.
Yeah.
I think that just leads to exploitation.
Yeah.
Because then you're just trying to sit at the table in negotiation and say, like, how naive is the other person? How much can I take from them?
Right.
And I don't need to run a business that way.
Yeah.
On naiveness. I think we can run a very successful business on pure transparency of just picking the right things to back and being open with the other party, the other dev, and saying, like, we're taking this. We're taking X%. You're getting Y. That's what we do across the board. This is why we think it's worth it. This is the results we've had. You want it? Yeah. Take it. You don't want it? Don't take it. Yeah. Go shop.
Yeah.
Like,
interesting.
I think stop thinking about being a publisher. Start thinking about being a tech company. There are a handful of publishers right now that have the capital where they could become better publishers if they just stop thinking like publishers. What do I mean? Build the tooling. Mm-hmm. Like any tooling.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, localization tooling. Bring an artist in house. Yeah. And then build AI collab. Not AI to build the capsule. Yeah. I mean, how do I put it so that Thomas is able to effectively communicate to an artist and using AI to give you iterations? Mm-hmm. Like your capsule artist, the real artist gives you something back and you're like, I wish it was more contrast here. I wish these popped out more. Yeah. AI gives you a bunch of different images of the mock-up and you go back to the artist saying, I think this is the vibe I'm looking for. Like, can you do it kind of like this art style? Mm-hmm. Real artist still draws it. Why? Yeah. Reduces the round trip between you and the artist. Yeah. You're interacting with a model. The model is pennies. Mm-hmm. The artist's time, though, is finite in the bottleneck. Yeah. Like, a lot of the time with capsule artists, I spend back and forth on emails. Mm-hmm. The gem isn't as bright as I want. Could you make this pop? Right. Could you send me another iteration of this mock-up? Could you try a different contrast on this? We waste all this time. Mm-hmm. Versus now what I've been doing is using AI to communicate what I want, find something based off their mockups, and I go back to them like kind of like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't want the AI capsule. I want them to know what I'm communicating in such a way and being able to point visually saying like this.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Yeah.
I can't find a single publisher who's building any tooling like that.
Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of tools that you could build out. Like I'm thinking about like all of the library images and the graphical assets for Steam and all of the different platforms. You know, it's like I've spent so much time porting games to different consoles where I'm just like in Photoshop resizing the same capsule art and exporting it and uploading it. And I'm like, if I had a tool that just had all of the different resolutions baked in, and I could just like drag and drop like safe areas for logos and stuff and then just hit export and get everything dumped, that would save me so much time.
You could build it.
Yeah. Maybe I should.
You could build it for just yourself. You could build it in open source if you don't even want to make money from it.
Yeah.
Because like the skill tree editor I did, a lot of people said I should sell it
Mm-hmm.
for a game about feeding a black hole. One, it's not a state of being user friendly, but we'll ignore that and the time I'd have to invest to get it to actually like usable state. It's gotten better. But I said, why? I'm like, the max I think I can make in the game dev community is like 10 grand in sales.
Yeah.
And then I have to support it.
Yeah.
And then I'm locked. And then I got to do features.
Yep.
And it's not worth it. But like, if you said, Corey and Andy Co. is becoming a publishing company, great. Everyone who comes in the company gets access to that tool.
Yeah.
And that would save time and efficiency and level them up. And we'd have a common language, and that's less development time.
Yeah.
And I think that's worth some sort of percentage points on, look, you're doing an incremental game and we have the skill tree that has all this flexibility.
Yeah.
Other games have been successful doing it. You want to use it? Cool. Here it is.
Yeah.
You don't want to use it? Don't need to use it.
Yeah.
But that's actually valuable.
Totally.
Everything else I see is like Excel sheet, like almost Wall Street market. It's like capital in yields Y%, like mutual funds. How much can we squeeze from the client without them knowing they're getting screwed over?
Right.
And yeah, is there a service? Yes. Okay. Yes, it's a bundling of stock, but you could just buy the stocks yourself. You could just buy Vanguard ETF and pay like 1/10 the management fees.
Yeah.
But not everyone knows that. And they trust the mutual fund because it's from their bank advisor who gets a commission.
Yeah.
And I feel that's exactly what the publisher model is right now.
Yeah.
It's like you trust this brand. It's really just a brand. I will say not everybody is on equal footing. There are some publishers who I think do more than others, of course.
Yeah.
And then I think some are just straight like almost cons to some
Yeah.
extent.
Yeah. But even then, like you said, it's a black box and you don't really know until you have conversations with them and try and discern what their value add would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. That's really good food for thought. I think that's everything that I wanted to hit in this conversation. I don't know if there's anything that you felt was calling out to you, if you wanted to chat more about a specific topic before we wrap things up.
Maybe it's not a recording, but I am interested in like Thomas Stewart 2026.
Yeah.
You heard all this. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm in the midst of making a New Year's video right now. And it's been a lot of reflection on 2025, things that I've done well and things that I regret, and things that I liked that I did is I spent maybe like a quarter of my time doing contract work, which I liked because it was consistent income to add to my studio, but it was also good exposure and skills for production and platform work, working mostly with a games publisher, and so I got to see some inner workings there. So that was great. Things that I did poorly was scope the game project that I was working on for the majority of last year, and so I didn't launch any new games. The only launch that I had last year was an old title that I ported to Nintendo Switch, and that was the only thing that I released. So that was like a big L in the Thomas Stewart camp. So I'm pivoting this year to making smaller games, and I don't know exactly what that's going to look like yet. I already have two prototypes that I'm working through that I'm going to open up and try and get some feedback from people. But I'm gonna try and aim for at least 3 games launched in 2026. So that's the goal, and we'll see.
You're too ambitious.
I know. That's
That's the story right here. 3 games. Let's start with 1.
I know. Yeah, exactly. Going from 0 to 3. Yeah,
there's truth to that. I mean, like, it's just set it to a goal that's almost embarrassing. It's like like 0 to 1 is still a huge feat. You're gonna have other things that happen. There's other life commitments.
Totally.
I mean,
well, the untold story is that in 2024 I launched 2 games, so it went 2 to 0.
Yeah, but there's burnout. There's creativity.
Yeah.
There's like bills to be paid if the games to do as well. There's factors of real life. Like, I was really scared with the game about feeding a black hole at the end of it that like I maybe fried my brain with too much of the dopamine loop of incremental that I might not be able to build another game.
Totally.
So,
yeah.
I mean, what would the game have to look like with your prototypes?
Yeah.
To do in like a unseemly, almost embarrassing amount of time? Like if I said, Thomas, you got 300 hours. Like, I don't mean just take what you already have and shrink it down. I mean, like, what would a game look like that?
Yeah.
And could start there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a good goal. Putting in an hourly input goal is something that I hadn't really been exposed to. I've like, obviously having a short deadline is one thing, but tracking the input of hours, I think, is really good advice, because it would make me, because then it's like you're already saying like, okay, how many hours am I going to dedicate to prototype and then content and then like publishing, and there's like a lot of things that go into that.
The nice thing is you're not new, as in this is not first game. So you have some concepts of what your hour and expectations are to do a system. Like if I came and it was like, how much time to take like a menu load thing? It's not, you're like, I've never done this. I have 0 idea.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I don't know. It's between X and Y probably, roughly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And a good set of tools in code that I can reuse too, which is nice. But yeah, I think my major issue in 2025 was just overscoping the project that I was working on. And so I think it is ambitious to aim for 3 launches in 2026, but I think it's doable. And I think it just would require drastic scoping. So
I'm going to come out on a limb and say no way.
yeah, okay. I'll take it.
Well, okay. Let me ask this way.
Yeah.
So you think, that sounds so condescending.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing is 3 games a year.
Yeah.
So January, February, March, April.
Yeah.
So you'll have a game ready in April.
Yeah.
And then after that, you will have another game in 4 more months.
Yeah.
And now think about all the other commitments: birthday parties, family, Easter, family wants to come see your daughter for the first time.
Yeah.
All this stuff. And downtime.
Yeah.
Between each game. And POC brainstorming.
Right.
Like I've
and
done the Excel sheet
Yeah.
with I've done the Excel sheet with Stefan and Andy, and like 3 games is only possible if you have basically 3 failures. Because you can just move on. You don't care. You don't like, you just literally move on. There's no patching. There's like, the game is what it is. Yeah. It's a Zippo.
Yeah.
If you have modest success, then you have to, you probably spent more time than you thought.
Yeah.
Because if it's looking good, you're going to spend more time.
Yeah.
And then the other part of it is you're going to feel some guilt of maintaining and bug fixing, and it did well enough to justify putting the time.
Yeah.
But that's actually eating into your next time.
Right. So how would you structure? This is actually really good feedback. So if you're saying like make what game could I make in 300 hours? How would you scope a roadmap for that?
First, I'd say, what are the games that you feel you can recognize good gameplay?
Mm-hmm.
Like I wouldn't say go make an incremental game if you literally hate that genre.
Right.
Like I think people can make games. They don't need to be necessarily experts in said genre, but making a game like puzzle games, I have no enjoyment in puzzle games.
Yeah.
You will never find me make a puzzle game
Yeah.
because I'd have to leverage QA external the entire time.
Yeah.
I'd have no concept of if it's really fun or not.
Yeah.
Like it's already uphill. I'm already working against myself.
Yeah.
So if it's like rogue-like games or I don't know, exploring games or maybe incrementals are your jam.
Yeah.
So start with what you could recognize as a fun game that you can just go back through, look at the last year of what games did you play and what games did you play ungodly amount of time that you probably shouldn't have been playing.
Yeah.
Because those are probably games that you are able to find pieces that were like, hey, this is a good mechanic that I should maybe borrow.
Yeah, totally.
If you, even if it wasn't 3 games a year, if you're just pressed for like time of launching a game as short as possible, I would say design portion's huge. It's going to be like 1/3 of your time. I think it's 1/3 design, 1/3 implementation, 1/3 QA / balancing, economy, testing, whatever you want to say in that bucket. Finessing, like even polish, I would put in that end 1/3. So, okay, if we want to drastically cut down your time, then I use the strategy of it's like X without ABC because that would take too much time or too complex. And the difference is XYZ.
Yeah.
Like whatever it is. If it's not like a shoot to destroy, it's a hover to destroy. If it's a space theme, instead of that, it's I don't know, planet theme, but with different biomes. I don't know, whatever you have an idea of. Because that will shrink your 1/3. That was Click and Conquer.
Yeah.
The reason that game is 300, 400 hours to complete is because we saw Dixium. We had done a bunch of incremental games, and we said, understand that game technically, can do it in lowish amount of time. Don't see anything I couldn't figure out, like in terms of technical capabilities and challenges. Basically, no unknowns, just time. And then for us, it was like, can we find an asset pack that we could get away with because neither of us want to do art, and neither of us could really do art. So trade in $20, get whole asset pack, and save like 100 hours there. And it answered all the questions that people get stuck up on. Well, how should it behave if you hover there or click here? I don't know. What did they do? What did the other game do? Oh, okay. You click here. This action happens. This pops out this way. Okay, cool. That's what we're going to follow. Because, I mean, if it's just a hobby game, like you're just want to explore technical stuff, like, cool. Like, do whatever you want. Pick a game, pick whatever genre. If it's, I want to make money and do this more sustainable or maybe less contracting to do this more full time, then it's going to be coming down, in my opinion at least, to, okay, work with the market, not necessarily against it or in the unknowns, and look to what's already working all right, that's feasible in your capabilities technically and time constraints, and say, yeah, I could probably do something in that space. You also have a community to go reach out to. Everyone who played that game, there's probably a subreddit or adjacent games that are similar to it. You don't have to educate the user. It's not a new mechanic where no one's ever seen it. It's like, I don't know. Maybe it's a cool mechanic, but I don't actually understand said mechanic. You solve consumer behavior purchasing. Game about feeding black hole, people go, oh, it's like keep on mining, but XYZ. Perfect. Because you understand, did I like said game? Yes, buy. No, you don't buy. Like, it's not what is this game about? And it's like, I don't understand. I don't know what this game is. Close. Matching is what we do. If you ever watch yourself purchase, you're like, oh, it's like XYZ, but different. Or Whiskerwood is like Timberborn, but it's mouse instead of beavers. And oh, there's this deck collection. Very easy to pattern recognize. And we're in tune to do that. Or we're natural to do that. I think big thing is just going to be finding existing games that you enjoyed and just saying like, I think I could build something around that. I found that the main issues that I run into are like, so I was a gameplay programmer at a game studio for a few years. My background is technical programming. So that's like, I feel
very comfortable in that domain. Then I spent some time making small projects, shipping them, porting them to different consoles, learning the production pipeline, learning the console porting, all of that stuff, like shipping. And now I feel like I'm at the phase of my career where I need to focus on design because that's a weak point of mine. And so my idea is that if I focus on really, really small games, then it will give me sort of like a playground to exercise my design muscle and try and make small games that are fun to play, and kind of get to grow in the design field. And so that's kind of this sort of story that I tell myself of the career journey that I'm on.
You don't need the design muscle.
Right.
I saw a POC before. I think it was some sky train movement.
Oh yeah,
Did you have a game where you go through the? Yeah,
that was
you can design a game that's fine.
That's funny. I made that in 2 days, and it was for Ludum Dare, and I had to quit because we had a family emergency. But yeah, yeah.
Something like that. Like for me, I see some of the mechanics where it's like, okay, like just what's the progression?
Yeah.
What's the player getting rewarded to do? Is it a repetitive motion that they feel happy and enjoy doing over and over?
Yeah.
Is it that they're like growing their little stuff between each island
Yeah.
and they have to go fetch new stuff? Is it meteorites come and they can break stuff and like they have to somehow activate defense? Like there's many things you could do.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, visually this is interesting enough. I think you could have a really stellar capsule with a game like that because it's floating in the sky.
Yeah.
People see anything floating in the sky with an island.
Yeah.
Like they have an idea of kind of what the game's going to be. I've seen some capsules where someone did like a mirror of a building in some water or something, but I thought it was an island floating in the sky. And I told them, is this like a sky building game? And they're like, no. I'm like, can you build the sky building game? Like your capsule?
Yeah.
Your capsule sold me to buy this game that I envisioned.
Yeah.
I know it's not your game,
Yeah.
but
That's funny.
so
I totally forgot about that game.
also you don't need design muscle.
Yeah.
If you just follow what someone else has done.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Either take that and just look for inspiration across. Like I don't know. Like maybe I'm just too much of politely I'd say borrow. Others would probably say steal.
Yeah.
I'm willfully willing to accept that I don't want to go find the crazy creativity. Maybe over time, but I am fine with other people having the creative muscle naturally and building out crazy concepts and me going, I think I could see this into something else.
Yeah.
Like I recently played a game called Or Blaze, and it's a game that's I think it's like 40 reviews on Steam. It didn't do so hot. I play it immediately. It's so obvious to me like what this game could have did. It's like okay, the UI controls are a mess. It causes huge friction. The UI is all over the place. I don't understand necessarily what I'm doing for the first 5 minutes. The text burns my eyes to what it's on top of. It's literally like yellow and red on like terrible contrast. It's like really burns my eyes playing a game. Not good feel.
Yeah.
The animation in which you're mining is super slow. It doesn't feel rewarding. But if I ignore that, I see the pieces of like, ooh, go down, mine. When you're above ground, that's the prestige loop.
Yeah.
When you're below ground, that's just the upgrade loop. If that's quick and you start getting some upgrades that play around with power fantasy or exploration fantasy or this unknown of getting to the depth. Oh, okay. I think I could take a game like that and make it into like a 600 review copy game.
Yeah. Interesting.
Now, coming up with that myself, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, maybe.
Yeah, it's so interesting because you are a very unique type of developer compared to other people that I interact with because I feel like I feel like everybody needs a Corey on their team because like I remember asking in Twitch, I'm like, where do I get a Thornity? Like that's what I want. So I don't know if you're considering doing like consulting or doing like your sort of publisher arm with Aramis, but I think you have a lot of value to add to how developers structure their games and
Just don't get caught up.
yeah Yeah, just don't get in
Like
your own
the
way.
number one priority is I need to ship a game
Yeah.
that is relatively fun. It doesn't need to be a 10 out of 10 fun. I think I was on a podcast and I said to people, if you want to make a $50,000 game, almost nothing matters.
Yeah.
Like you just need no zeros.
Yeah.
If you have no zeros in your radar graph, you're capable of making a game like that. I'm not saying everyone will.
Yeah.
I'm saying roll the dice and they hit the right number. Yeah, you're fine there. But I don't think it's like the secret sauce is the genre, or the secret sauce is like if you add the special mechanic, or if I just have great design skills, I can get through it, or if my art was just better. It's like, yeah, sure, one of those can help carry you, but like as long as you don't have zeros and you want to launch a game, and make like, let's say 35 to 50,000 gross before Steam fee. I think if you just follow the playbook of like short timeline, because that depends on how successful your game has to be, how much money you need it to yield.
Yep.
So let's say it's like 6 to 8 months of time, and or less. It depends like where you live and what you need to survive, yada yada, etc. And you just follow a not crazy playbook of marketing. It's like, okay, you're going to have to go. What's your game like? It's like ABC. Great. Go search YouTube for ABC and make the Excel sheet for ABC. And then what's those content creators also cover of other games? Then search that game, do the manual work, or build the tool if you are capable of building tools. Like I know not everyone's got development background like myself, where even with Chad, it would be a little bit hard, but, and then it's a numbers game. Like, okay, so you email 300 content creators. Well, the game I picked doesn't have 300 content creators. Ding, ding, ding. Probably working against the system.
Yeah.
Maybe you should look for a game that you can at least find 300 content creators related to your genre.
Yeah.
But I want to build a puzzle game. Then my advice isn't for you. You're going to go build your dream game.
Right.
Like, oh, I'm building a roguelike. There's definitely 300 content creators you can find.
Yeah.
And then you email 300. And some small percentage is going to cover. Okay, 3% cover your game. Okay, but that's still like 10.
Yeah.
And if they're sizable content creators, even mid-size, like they're getting 5,000 to 12,000 views on your video, like we're talking about you selling probably 3,000, 4,000 copies right there.
Yeah.
Like with 10 in that size, like, and that's not even maximizing to try and get on like Pauper Up and Coming or new and trending, getting enough sales. That's just like Discovery Queue is going to do you all right if you can get 10 content creators and you're moving like, I don't know, 3,000 to 5,000 copies yourself over the first week through the content creators. Yeah. And how do you do that? Like I said, you just have a big enough batch with enough conversion.
Right.
You don't need huge numbers, like 3%.
Yeah.
But if you email 300,
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
and you don't email the PewDiePies of the world. I mean,
Right,
like 300 like content creator people, not like YouTube subs that just happen to cover a game occasionally. I mean, like in incremental space, it's like you got Orbital Potato, you got Wanderbot, you got Real Civil Engineer, you got Internal GIF, I think it is. You got Sif D, like there's 5, and those 5, if one of them cover a game, it's probably about 1,000 copies to sell.
Yeah.
Just one of them.
Dang.
And we'll even remove Real Civil Engineer because he's kind of astronomically large in terms of his audience. Yeah. So
interesting. That brings me back to a question that I had that I skipped over, and it was about pricing strategy. So how did you figure out what to price your previous games at? I
mean, I looked and just like go across and look at the games of currently what's doing well and what the market's willing to bear. Like Keep on Mining, I think is $4.99. I never remember because it's like I see the CAD price, but they list in USD, so I never remember exactly what the prices are. But let's say somewhere between like $2.50 USD and $7 USD, maybe $8 USD is pushing on some of the higher end incremental games. And I was like, all right, well, a lot of games are kind of around like $3-4 USD. Yeah. Let's put a higher price than that and let's discount so that we don't lose money. Yeah. because people are not looking at your base price; they're looking at what they're paying.
Right.
So it's like, okay, game $6.99 USD with 30% discount. It's sub $5.
Yep.
The market has already said that they're willing to pay that for this type of game. How much is median playtime versus the other games? What are their play? Yeah, that's roughly, I think, what's doable. And why 30% was because it originally was 40%. We were going to do max discount for maximum amount of time. Because we just wanted to guarantee, or not guarantee, we wanted to increase the chance of new and trending in more places, and giving up the 10% to the consumer is nonlinear. Like, it's not like I give up 10%. I could not work, give up 10%, and okay, so what? We lost 10% of like $10,000. Okay, we lose $1,000. The upside is something like we gave up the 10%, and instead of selling $10,000 worth, we sell like $80,000.
Yeah.
Because there was enough sell.
Yeah.
It was enough for the consumer psychology to actually say, it's a good deal and buy, and you move volume. But we bumped down to 30% because there was another game priced exactly the same as us that was very similar play time that released and had phenomenal numbers, and they did 30%. And I just had told Andy, I was like, I think as long as we're sub $5, I don't think it really matters that much. And 30% puts us still sub $5. And we have enough wish list that I'm fairly confident that it's not going to matter. So I was like, let's do it.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay. And yeah,
Nice.
there didn't look like any negative of hindsight. We don't know. Can't really A/B. But we're happy with the results. I guess it's the real answer.
Yeah.
And with Click and Conquer, I actually changed the base price after. With Black Hole, we didn't change the base price at all because I just went through the reviews. I just have a tool, pull in all the reviews, do sentiment analysis. Like, almost nobody complained about the price.
Yeah.
No one, with Click and Conquer, a lot of people said for the amount of length of the game, only worth buying on discount.
Yeah.
And that kind of gave me the indication, like, okay, the base price is a little bit too much for the market to bear for the playtime.
Yeah.
So we had just pulled down the base price after the launch in Click and Conquer. And that's it. That's the pricing is no magic formula here. Just look at what your competitors are doing. And I tell people, it's like, find the number that you kind of feel uncomfortable and then just move it 20% below that.
Yeah.
Because it's a great deal for the consumer then.
Yeah.
And you don't care about yourself and pricing.
Yeah.
You don't think, what's Thomas worth and how much does Thomas need to make per unit?
Right.
What you care is the consumer getting a great deal or not?
Yeah.
Because if they're getting a great deal and they feel like a great deal, they leave the reviews.
Yeah.
They tell people. And Steam's nonlinear.
Yeah.
It's a multiplier. So, if you sell this game and 50 people feel like they got a great value out of it and they leave the 50 reviews and all of a sudden their friends are playing it, it can compound.
Yeah.
I'm not saying every game's like this. Like,
Yeah.
there's some percentage, yada, yada, but I'm saying, like, it also doesn't matter on the smaller numbers.
Yeah.
Like, I'm losing 20%. Okay, how much do you sell? $8,000. Okay, so you lost $1,600. Yeah, it sucks for the people who really need the money.
Yeah.
But, like, in the grand scheme of, like, Steam and sales units, it's like, okay, just that's just a stat we just ignore in rounding.
Yeah.
But if that 20% difference is, like, huge volume moves because people feel like, wow, this is a steal for what I'm getting, you just sell way more.
Yeah.
Way more than the 20% difference.
Yeah. Interesting.
So,
because I guess the inverse of that is that I was under the impression that, the more money that you bring into Steam, the more Steam will push your game. So that would incentivize you to price it higher.
True.
To feed the algorithm.
It's actually true.
Yeah.
So, new and trending is based on revenue. Top seller is based on revenue. Only popular up and coming is based on wish list because your game hasn't actually sold. And popular up and coming, once you're on it, it doesn't matter. You're on it. Then it's actually ordered by release date. So that's a little funny thing because you could min-max that too. You can, like, the game of Black Hole, we list on Monday. Why on Monday? All the games on Friday fall off. No one sells on Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
So you get the entire weekend showing on popular up and coming.
Yeah.
Why did we pick our release date? It's earlier than most people, and we didn't pick 10 a.m. Eastern. We pick 9:59 Eastern. Why? Because someone else picked 10 a.m. Eastern, and we get the one higher ranking, which means you're just one little slot higher on the page, and people scroll down, and they just always scroll down all the way. So the closer you can get out there, the more likely you are for people to see it.
Interesting.
So I don't know. The pricing on higher is if you can justify it.
Yeah.
Like, do I wish a game about black hole was $20 a copy? Of course.
Right,
of course.
Right.
We would make like 5x what we made or 4x what we made. Would anyone pay that? No.
Yeah.
So we would never have hit new and trending because no one would have bought it at that price point. So there's this sweet spot of like how much you can charge for the game versus how much volume you're going to move. And like, you want to find that spot where you can maximize on the pricing.
Yeah.
Because there are spots where you could show up in more spots.
Yeah.
Like, with Game About Feeding Black Hole, I have to move more volume at $6.99 than at $12.99. 2x, roughly 2x. It's not actually the right number, but at $12.99, the volume move would be like Zippo.
Yeah.
No one would buy the game.
Yeah.
So having to move 2x at $6.99 and then with the discount, that was fine.
Yeah.
The game moved 40,000 copies in the first week.
Yeah.
So not just Steam, like there's content creators who covered it and everything, but I mean, I think it works out to be something like Click and Conquer is 1/3 of all our sales are content creators and 2/3 is Steam. And of that 2/3, half is bundle related. And the other half is all discovery queue, friend recommend, like all the internal Steam, under $5 widget, under $10 widget, most played by your friends. So it's 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. And two of those you indirectly control. Content creators, you kind of control. How many do you get? How good is your game? How many do you reach out? You can help shape that. Bundles, again, how much do you reach out? How much effort are you willing to put into that? Can you find games that don't have bundles and bundle with them? Like, it's a numbers game too.
Yeah. Interesting.
The other 1/3 discovery queue though is like literally it's just signals. It's like good game with high amount of sales or not.
Yeah.
Like, and not even necessarily just good game. I should just say high amount of sales. Doesn't matter if your game's good.
Yeah.
Because I've had games that have 40% refunds.
Yeah.
And still get a ton of sales because it moved enough volume from indirect traffic sources buying the game that discovery queue is like, look, sales coming in, let me give you more people. But hey, there's a 40% refund rate. Maybe that's not that great.
Dang. Do you guys have any plans to port the game to consoles?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Like it's a question of
it's a bit harder on Godot.
I wouldn't say it's difficulty. Like that is a factor. It's more like how much time?
Yeah.
And even if it's not us, like, okay, how much time are we going to find somebody else to do it?
Yeah.
What does that cost us to do? Either we absorb the capital ourselves or the cost ourselves and we put up the capital up front. We hire Thomas, go port a game, right? That's one way. We go find someone like Thomas works with someone. Okay, you guys take all the costs of contractor and paying the people, and we do rev share deal where they take whatever it is, 20 to 50%, and we minimize any risks financially, but we lose some of the upside. And that pushes all the risk onto their side, but they get more of the upside. Then it's a question of like, do we think it would sell well on the other platforms or even not?
Yeah.
Are we capable of making it sell well on the other platforms or not? Could we find a partner that's already established enough to do that?
Yeah.
Or is it just going to be somebody who says, I'll port your game and I'll take half, but like I'm going to publish it. And if the algo picks up, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And too bad.
Yeah.
Like, then you get into finessing of like, do they have right to port the future expansions of the game if there are any? Like first dibs on it. Like, do we want to give that up if we do that? Can we find somebody who's not willing to do that? Like, it's all, and even if it makes sense, it's time.
Yeah.
So let's say, okay, we do this and we could make, after everything's said and done, 70K.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, but how much time did that take? How much anxiety? How much stress?
Yeah.
How much are we risking?
Yep.
How much do we have to put up or what's going on and back and forth and all this? And could we just go say, no, now it's not the time. We just go build other games.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, I think if somebody came and was like, no risk, takes all financial risks of themselves because they know how to market the platform and they're looking like a good partner. And, I'd say that Andy and I would evaluate. Like, it's not a no.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us are eager about porting ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think any of us are like, yeah,
Yes.
like Nintendo Switch is exactly what we want to go spend all our time writing the code for. Yeah. It would be different if one of us were like technically excited about doing it, but I have no interest, and I don't think Andy has any interest in it.
Yeah.
So then it becomes only if the right opportunity with partner came up and it made sense.
Yeah.
And did not take away from time of doing other things.
Mm-hmm.
So another reason why if you change the model and you start becoming this publishing company yourself, you do have expertise in doing that and growing at that and minimizing your risks, because you could look for games that are more likely to do well, to in-house train either your talent or your contractors on doing that, and then you reduce the time it takes on more high-risk bets, like games that maybe might do all right, but you don't know on the other platforms, versus maybe a game of Black Hole, someone sees it who does a bunch of porting and is like, no, this game would be stellar on X platform. Like, why are you guys not doing that? Right. Well, that's a low risk or less risk than, hey, we're doing this first time RTS game that sells well on Steam, but because the UIs are going to be so terrible on Switch, like, it's maybe it does all right.
Yeah. That'd be really tough.
Yeah, so.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I guess just to wrap things up, thank you for coming onto the podcast. I've really enjoyed this conversation. This is one of the ones that I was really looking forward to kind of pick your brain. And I feel like you have a wealth of knowledge, and I hope that you continue pouring out your learnings into the public game dev sphere, because I think there's a lot of value there.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed coming on. I hope you say the same thing to every guest, though. But
yeah.
I'll go scrub through and find out.
Yeah, exactly. I've really enjoyed this chat though. And
likewise,
maybe we can revisit it when you guys launch your next game. That'd be really fun.
February.
Yeah. Actually,
that's the deadline.
Wow. Okay. Let's see if I can even publish this podcast before then. Okay. I will stop recording now.
Okay.
And awkward outro.